Good evening, everybody. On behalf of Samadhi, Shalika De Silva, on behalf of Samadhi Buddhist Foundation in New Jersey, I would like to welcome all of you to our first session of Clarity of Mind for Young Adults through Mindfulness series. Now I would like to introduce our teacher, Venerable Panadure Chandarathana Thero. Bhante Chandarathana had actually kind of somewhat different may I say, like a non-typical path monkhood. He graduated from University of Muratua, Sri Lanka as an electrical engineer in 1998. Thereafter, he had worked at various companies in Sri Lanka, Singapore, and the United States. Then he completed his postgraduate studies in computer science from University of Muratua, Sri Lanka in 2008. Later, in the same year, he became a monk. Since then, he has been keen practitioner of Samatha and Vipassana meditation. Currently, he resides in a beautiful forest monastery in Sri Lanka. With so much respect, Bhante, I would like to invite you to commence the session. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Shalika. So I welcome all of you to this new session we are going to start today. Basically, this is a new session for kids. We are targeting young adults, and basically we hope to cover this. Maybe Chalika will tell you later every month, and this is the starting session. So first of all, I like to give a brief introduction to mindfulness. Basically, if you consider your typical day-to-day life, so you may be really busy, you have a lot of responsibilities, you have a lot of tasks to handle, and you already have handled so many stuff, and you have many things to do in the future. So likewise, we are fairly duty bounded. As a result, there are so many past related thoughts going on in our mind. So some certain things may be regretful, certain things are really happy, joyful, and we may be thinking about various past incidents and proliferating on that, ruminating on that. And on the other hand, we may be planning about the future, maybe about our education, about our future various plans, etc. So basically, we are never trying to live in the present. So even though our body is constantly living in the present, basically our mind never live in the present. It always jump to the past and always jump to the future. We may be fantasizing, we may be proliferating, ruminating, chattering. So many things are going on in the mind. So how are we going to restrain the mind? Is it possible to awaken to the present moment? Is it possible to live fully in the present moment? So this is a challenge that we all have. So it is not easy to immediately tame the mind. So therefore we need certain exercises to tame the mind, certain exercises to clear the mind, to cleanse the mind. So therefore mindfulness come to the picture on such background. So basically we are trying to take our attention to the present moment. So that would be the first step. So without taking our attention to the present moment, we can't continue our whole practice. So as a first thing, therefore we need various methods, strategies to take our attention to the present moment. Say for example, if you simply walk, so we all have walked enough, but we have never connected with walking. The body is walking, but our mind never really connect with walking, never really synchronize with walking. So that is maybe thinking about what we are going to do, planning, dreaming, fantasizing. So many things are going on in the mind, but the body is walking. Now we are trying to do sort of a connection between the mind and the body. When the body is walking, is it possible for us to connect with the body? Say each step, left leg is touching the ground. Are we able to keep our attention there? When our right foot is touching the ground, are we able to keep our attention there? So likewise, this is a very simple activity. The body is simply walking, and we are time to time, we are trying our best to synchronize with it, to be with the body, to fully acknowledge bodily experience. So this experience is very direct. You don't need a book, you don't need to ask from someone to connect with this. You can simply connect with the bodily experience. So this is where the mindfulness come into the picture. And on the other hand, suppose you are sitting, even now you are sitting. So at this very moment, you can feel that your legs are bent, your head is straight, and you may be listening to what I am talking. So likewise, there are so many present moment experiences going on. So as a result, if you can connect with these present moment experiences, then we can say we are really living. We are really living in the present moment. So Buddha says that if someone does not know how to live in the present moment, he is like a dead. So he may sort of conventionally lived this life for say 60 years, 70 years, 80 years, but never have lived in the present moment. So he is very much like a dead. So if we are able to awaken to this present moment, then we actually come out of that dream world. We are able to come out of that imagined world, and then basically we are fully in the present moment, fully awakened to the present moment. We know exactly what is going on right now. Otherwise our mind is very cluttered and fairly conditioned and filled with so many preconceived ideas. So as a result, we can never take a proper decision. We can never take a correct decision because mind is fairly cluttered, mind is fairly clouded. But if we slowly develop mindfulness, so that actually helps us to come up with a new paradigm shift where we start to look at things in a different angle, rather than thinking about various things, rather than sort of admitting things based on our likes and dislikes. So this kind of a practice helps us to open up directly to the present experience. So this is a beautiful practice. So there are various methods available. Say practicing while sitting, sometimes we call as mindful sitting, is one very common practice that we actually hope to introduce today. And mindful walking is yet another beautiful practice. I mean, these are not different to us, and these are again not difficult to us. And we all know we can easily sit. We all know we can easily walk. But only thing is we forget to be mindful. As I said before, our body is walking, our body is sitting, but our mind never really connect with the body. So this is where we go wrong. Now we are using our body as an anchoring point. Say for example, if there's a ship which has to be properly stabilized on water, then we are using an anchor. So the anchor helps the ship to stay stable. So similarly, we are using body as an anchoring to the mind, so that mind also stay present, stay alert, stay vigilant, stay open. So these qualities we have to slowly earn actually. This is not something extremely difficult and it is extremely new to us, but these certain qualities are available to us, but now we have to catalyze it. Now we have to improve them. Say for example, while driving, you know there's when you want to press the brake, you can apply brake. If you want to turn, you can turn. That indicates that we have certain amount of mindfulness, but that is not enough. So we have to further improve it, and we are using the very basic ordinary activities for that, like say while walking, sitting, breathing, say you take a shower, you are while eating, you are putting your clothes. So these are very ordinary activities, typically happen in what we call autopilot mode. We never consider those things as important, and we think that what we are planning is the most important thing. So therefore we simply neglect the current activity. Current activity may be you are eating, current activity may be you are having a shower, maybe you are having a walk. But mind is thinking something we call as very interesting, very fantastic, wonderful plan is going on in the mind. So this is where we actually decouple from the experience. But now we again try to get really coupled with the experience, really connected with the experience. And that helps us to remove so much of cluttering in the mind, so much of inner talking in the mind, a lot of stress available in the mind, a lot of preconceived ideas available in the mind, so that slowly mind become fairly clean, mind become slowly fairly clear. So when the mind is clean, clear, then at this present moment, suppose there's a problem arise in your way, so you can look at it properly, you can look at it clearly, you can take the correct decision. And suppose you are talking with someone, you can listen mindfully, say, rather than thinking about various things happen in the past or in the future. So while talking with someone, you can fully attentively listen to it, listen to him, so that you will never miss what is being taught. And similarly, suppose you are in a classroom, there the teacher may be teaching something, and there you can fully focus on what she or he is teaching. Suppose you are reading a book, there also, if your mind starts to wander here and there, then it may take long time for you to read the book, to complete the book. And on the other hand, you can't really enjoy the content also, because again and again mind may shift. But on the other hand, if you are able to fully connect with reading, if you know that you are right now reading, you know that I am mindfully reading, so that indicates you can actually pay attention to the current task at hand, and that is done well. And we are introducing certain concepts like slowly, mindfully, silently, SMS. So you all know about SMS. Now we are giving a new definition for this SMS. Slowly, mindfully, silently. Say for example, you go to a bath, having a shower. So there you go slowly, open the door, and say you close the door, and say you are removing the clothes, and you open the shower, and the water drops are coming down, and you can feel it, and you start to bath, you can feel the complete touching sensations of the water. So likewise, this whole activity you can do very mindfully. So sometimes we forget it, therefore we at the beginning we little introduce little amount of effort, and we are trying to do it little slowly, so that we can catch what is really going on. When the mind shifts to the past and the future, we can catch that now the mind has shifted, distracted, and again we are patiently taking back, and again staying and connecting with the present experience, and again we continue the present activity. Again we can really experience the present moment, and we are fully mindful, we are well connected with the bodily experience. And again we are trying to make it very silent, we are not making much noise, we are not talking, we are trying to keep the mind also very quiet, so that we can fully embrace the present moment experience, slowly, mindfully, silently. So as we continue, this becomes a sort of a habit where you start to enjoy it. At the beginning, it appears like little difficult because mind never stay in the present moment, and there could be various difficulties. But if you, without giving up, if you are able to really continue your practice, slowly you will understand now there's a sort of a very refreshing kind of experience going to happen, and you start to live, you start to really live the moment. And even if you look at various typical ordinary things, they appear like new. Say there's a tree in your garden and you have seen it enough times, but with the introduction of mindfulness, at another day, suppose you are looking at this tree and it appear like really fresh, it appear like really new. because now the mind is new. The mind is really living. Mind is very open. Mind is really refreshed. So therefore, you can really enjoy this present moment experience. And this is in a way the one aspect. And you can then expand it. It's not only to walking, not only to sitting. You can, as I mentioned, you can be mindful while having a shower. You can be mindful while, say, brushing your teeth. You can be mindful while you are doing various, say, reading a book, listening to another person, talking with another person, putting your clothes. And so likewise, you can start to expand this experience. So it is not that we have to really find long time to practice, but rather it's a matter of introducing mindfulness to various ordinary activities. So that becomes fairly connected with you then. That becomes sort of an art of living. How to live mindfully while engaged with various day-to-day activities. So likewise, now the mindfulness becomes sort of a companion, kind of a friend, and then you can really start to enjoy. And not only that, later, if you are interested, you can further refine mindfulness, and that will take you to sort of a concentration, where your mind is extremely concentrated, extremely focused on the present moment experience. It's very much like you take a convex lens and you are putting under the sunshine, sun rays, and you can even burn a piece of wood or even a piece of cotton wool, because the concentration has some power. So similarly, if your mind is well focused, if your mind is well concentrated, so that also become a skill that further can be experienced, that further can be improved. And time, slowly, as you are able to sort of build up, your mind become very refined. You are able to attentively look at certain things without ignoring the information, without ignoring the sort of the information. You can carefully analyze what is really going on, what is really here. So your ability become very sharp. Your concentration helps to develop this kind of a sharp observation. So this sharp observation leading us to further improvement in our wisdom, sort of our inner intuition. So likewise, there are many other very beautiful qualities going to take hand in hand with this experience. So therefore, that actually helps to even to be mindful and to be really concentrated, well focused on the present moment. And not only that, to have a fair, mature perspective about our life, to think newly about our life, to even face various difficulties, various challenges. And even if we face a challenge, a tragedy, we have the capacity to again build up our life. So that we call as resilience. So as we develop mindfulness, so even if you face a challenge, you can face it. And even if you fail, you can again rise up, again you can build up. So our life becomes fairly resilient. So likewise, so there are many advantages nowadays available. And even though this technique was found by Buddha about 2600 years ago, it was limited to a certain group of people. But now with the scientific inventions, now the benefits of mindfulness have been scientifically proved, say using functional MRI machines. So they have taken a lot of pictures of the brain, and they have really understood what are the positive aspects or positive changes happening in the brain. So therefore it is now scientifically proved. So therefore now people are practicing it, especially in the West. They are practicing it and they are introducing it to the schools. And even in Sri Lanka, my teacher Bante Dhammajiva has introduced it to the schools, and it is called Satipasala, Mindful School. And now it is really catching up. There are a lot of schools are inviting to conduct various mindful school activities, and children are really blooming with this mindfulness. And they are really improving their, say, concentration, their studies, their day-to-day activities, and as a result they are able to improve their studies, to perform well, and they can really be with their peers properly without any troubles, and they can really pay attention at the teaching. So likewise, there are many benefits currently, even the school children are benefiting. So with that, I like to sort of conclude the summary of the introduction. And now I invite Shalika to play a little video that will show you a very few minutes cartoon to give the same information sort of with a glimpse.
Yes, Bhante.
Despite what you may have heard, meditation does not involve joining a group, paying any fees, wearing any special outfits, sitting in a funny position, or believing in anything in particular. It is simple, secular, scientifically validated exercise for your brain. You don't have to do it yet, but just so you know, here are the 3 steps. 1, sit with your back straight and your eyes closed. 2, notice the feeling of your breath coming in and going out. Pick a spot where it's most prominent. Usually that's your nose or your chest or your belly, and just focus your full attention on the feeling of your breath coming in and going out. Now, as soon as you try to do this, your mind's going to go nuts. You're going to start thinking about, what am I going to have for lunch? Why did I say that dumb thing to my boss? Your brain's going to go nuts, and that's fine. The whole game is to notice when you've gotten lost and to start over, and then to start over again and again and again. Every time you do that, it's like a bicep curl for your brain, and it shows up on the brain scan. Scientists have found this in the lab. It's also, by the way, a radical act. You're breaking a lifetime's habit of walking around in a fog of projection and rumination, and you're actually focusing on what's happening right now. Meditation is unlike anything you do in the rest of your life. Failure is actually success. As I said, the whole game is just trying, failing, starting again, failing, starting again. Here's my advice. You should be meditating every day, 5 to 10 minutes a day. That's it. This doesn't require some giant investment. I don't care how busy you are. You have 5 to 10 minutes to give this a shot. I guarantee you it will make a big difference.
Okay, now we are going for a mindful sitting. So I invite all of you to sit in a comfortable position. Change your posture. You can sit cross-legged if you like. And if you are sitting on a chair, you can lean onto the chair so that your back straight and very comfortable. And keep very relaxed. And now gently close your eyes. Now you can hear my voice, and maybe if there are any other noise available around, you can hear those, but nothing to worry. So we, in mindfulness practice, we can include the whole experience. Now, since your eyes are gently closed, you can sense the whole body now. Pay attention to where I am talking, to what I am talking, and try to locate your attention Focus your attention to the places what I am telling. Now your eyes are closed. Probably you can feel it. Don't put too much effort to close your eyes, but do it very gentle manner. Probably you can feel your lips touching each other. And keep your tongue in the middle. Don't make any pressure using your tongue towards the teeth or gums, but keep it in the middle in a very relaxed position. And you may not notice any wrinkles on your forehead because now you are not planning anything. You are not thinking about any trouble or problem. So your face appears fairly relaxed. So the head straight, neck also straight, and no tightness in the neck. You are keeping it very relaxed. Shoulders also in a very relaxed position. You are not holding them effortfully, but quite relaxed. And you may be keeping your hands on your lap or maybe on a table. And that too are relaxed. Upper body straight, back straight. And you can feel some pressure at your buttocks because the body weight is now concentrated there. So you can feel some pressure there, kind of a weight, heaviness. Your thigh muscles are relaxed, knees are bent, calf muscles relaxed, and probably you can feel some touching sensations at the foot. Maybe the carpet or the floor, you can feel. Now these are very ordinary experiences. Now we are trying to be aware. Don't neglect any of these experiences. All these are very valid. So give some value to them. Give some prominence to them. And try to fully be with them. Acknowledge them. Your legs are touching the ground. Calf muscles are relaxed. Knees are bent. Thigh muscles are relaxed. You can feel some pressure at your buttocks. Back straight. And hands are on your lap on a very relaxed position. Shoulders are in a restful position. You are not effortfully holding them. Neck straight. Head straight. And eyes are gently closed. And you can feel that you are naturally breathing. Allow the body to naturally breathe. Calm down yourself. There is no rush. There is no big thing to do. Try to be with yourself. Try to connect with yourself. Be gentle to yourself. Even if your mind wanders, that's quite all right, because that is the nature of the mind that is untrained. So it is jumping here and there, thinking about various things. Don't worry about it. But once you know you have drifted from the present moment, gently take it back and put it back to the bodily experience. If you are able to well connect with the body, keep your attention to the belly, to your tummy. See whether you can feel any movement. As you're breathing in, there's a slight movement towards the front. It is rising. As you breathe out, it is coming back, falling. If you like, you can label it. When you experience rising, you can label it rising. When you experience falling, you can note it, label it as falling. Very gentle mental reminder. You are not talking, you are not whispering, but rather you mentally note it. Rising, falling. Rising, falling. Very gentle, very smooth, very relaxed. Allow yourself to well connected with this bodily experience. Give some value to it. If your mind wanders, don't worry about it. Slowly bring it back. And again, experience the present moment. Right now, there is a rising. So you connect with it. Right now, there is a falling. You connect with it. Okay, now we are going to do another activity, that is mindful walking. Actually, today we are simply giving you an introduction on mindful walking, and but later, next time, we hope to get your experiences, share your experiences, because now we won't have enough time to do a walking session here. So mindful walking is yet another very beautiful activity, as I already mentioned. So while walking, you can keep your attention on your steps. When your left leg is touching the ground, you can keep your attention there. When your right leg is touching the ground, you can keep your attention there. So if your mind wanders, as we did in the sitting session, we can label it, we can note it. Say for example, when your left leg is touching, you can call it or name it as left. When your right leg is touching, you can name it as right. Left, right. So likewise, you are naming it, you are labeling it. But the attention has to be very precisely on your foot. So you can't simply say left, right, while allowing the mind to wander. The exercise is to keep your attention fully on your leg, and when it is touching the ground, and once you know that it has well touched the ground, and you call it as left. And when your right leg is touching the ground, and once you very well know, once you very well experience that now the leg has touched the ground, and you are very sure it is the right leg, and you name it, label it as right. And sometimes we can use another little advanced method, that is where when your left leg is moving up, you can call it raising. And when it is putting down, you can call it as placing, rising and placing, or raising and placing, or lifting and placing. So whatever it is you like, you can simply use the names to labels, so that you can really connect with this experience. And it's a very beautiful exercise, and we have a very detailed video on this, and I invite Shalika to play that video so that you get a very clear idea about mindful walking.
Yes, Bhante.
Mindful walking. You may already know we can practice to be mindful in any posture, such as sitting down, walking, lying down, or you can be mindful doing any day-to-day activity. But today, let's see how we practice mindful walking. First, we need to find a place to do our mindful walking. You could practice mindful walking indoor or outdoor when the weather permits. Ideally, on a sand or a gravel walking path. You can also do it on a lawn. But today, we'll be using a sand walking path. Make sure you have enough space to walk about 20 to 30 steps up and down comfortably. Walking barefoot is preferred whenever that is practical. To begin with, it's recommended that you do a few rounds of walking back and forth where you choose to do your mindful walking. Walk in a relaxed and natural pace. This will help you to warm up and be ready. Before you begin your session, at the starting point of your walking path, stand still. Keep your arms in a comfortable position, by your side, at the back, or in the front. But don't swing the arms to and fro. Be aware that you are about to start mindful walking. From now on, you have no dealings with the outside world. Your only friend is mindfulness. Now for a minute or two, be mindful of your posture. Be aware that you're not sitting down or lying down, but standing up. Note how your feet touch the ground. Feel how your body weight evenly distributes on each of your feet. Keep your eyes open and downcast. Look in the direction of the ground at about 2 meters in front of you, but not anything in particular. Now start walking. Keep a relaxed and natural pace. Let your body knowledge determine the right pace for you. Be mindful that you're walking. Your attention is focused on your lower part of the body. Be attentive to the movement of your feet, the shift from left to right. Note the sensations. What do you feel? Focus on different parts of your sole, heel, arch and toes. Do you feel a difference in hardness, softness, or in temperature in different parts of your sole? When you reach the end of the path, bring both feet together and stand still for a moment. Slowly turn around, being aware that you are turning. It is important that we note the actions and sensations as they occur, not before or after. At any point of this process, if you see or hear something, or you realize that you are not mindful on your walking, that's perfectly fine. Bring your attention back to the process of walking. Note the sensations as your foot touches the ground. Every time you turn, note that you are turning. If thoughts arise, note those, but do not get involved. Don't try to suppress your thoughts. Continue with mindful walking. Relax and enjoy the act of walking. Now it's time to end the walking session. Carry your mindfulness into the sitting session. But remember, slowly, mindfully, and silently. Practice mindful walking at home. Carry your mindfulness into a sitting session. Let others join as well.
So that basically finishes the guided walking session, and basically you can practice your own. So we are not going to do it right now, but right now we hope to open the session for questions. So we actually made a kind of an introduction today, and then we did a guided sitting, and we played a little video, and then we have discussed or rather shown you another video on mindful walking. So as a sort of homework, you all actually can practice And this has to be practiced by yourself. I mean, no one else can practice for you. You yourself have to practice. Then only you can feel it. It is entirely a practical session. So therefore, I invite all of you to practice as much as possible. And now you know the technique and you can remember certain things. If necessary, we can share these videos so that you can play your own and have further guidance. And now I open up the session for questions if you have, and if you like to comment on this session, if you want to clarify certain thing, so this is the time for that. And if Shalika wants to make any notes, so that also she can do.
Hi, Bante. Thank you for the talk. You talked about at some point mindfulness becomes a habit, and then it can be very joyful, and things, you mentioned that a tree, for example, can seem fresh. That notion of mindfulness becoming sort of effortless and habitual is a very beautiful idea to me. I'm wondering if you could expand what it feels like for mindfulness to go from being from requiring a lot of effort to becoming effortless.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the question. Because as you know, I mean, if you consider any activity at the beginning, it appears a little difficult because you are not used to it. And say, for example, if you want to play a guitar, so at the beginning, so it's very much like hopeless because you don't know how to hold the guitar, you don't know how to hold the stick, and you don't know where to touch, so you don't know the notes, etc. So it's a very difficult. But without giving up, if you are practicing, if you do daily training, then slowly you are able to play a note. You know how to play a note, and slowly you know how to play a couple of notes properly, and you know how to tune the guitar. And later, say you can play a piece of music, and later you can play a complete song, and slowly you now become sort of a professional in playing a guitar. Same thing applies here. So at the beginning you need some amount of effort to be mindful, because again and again our mind forgets it, because our mind likes to stay in the past, thinking about what has happened in the past, and planning about the future, dreaming, fantasizing. So mind thinks these are the worthy activities. But now, after listening to Buddha's words, now we are trying to take our attention to the present moment, and it appears like difficult at the beginning. But that's why we again and again we have to practice. So try to be mindful daily at a sort of a scheduled time, say in the morning, just before you go to your work, or just before you go to your school. So try to be mindful, and you can do a little walking, you can do a little sitting, and then say after coming back home again, try to be mindful, try to introduce mindful sitting and mindful walking. So likewise, if you are daily make it a daily practice, then slowly it becomes sort of connected to you, and your mind tells, okay, now you have to practice. Now how to find today's time? I have a lot of work to do today. How to find time for mindful walking? How to find time for mindful sitting? So likewise, kind of an inner invitation comes for you to continue a practice, so that actually motivates you. So this is how we have to grow. And again, you can take various techniques like reminding yourself, be mindful, be mindful. Say on your table, you are putting a small label telling, okay, be mindful. So when you are going to your table, now you get a call, okay, sort of a reminder telling to be mindful. Say you are opening a door, there's a label telling be mindful. Then while opening the door, you can establish mindfulness, because otherwise our mind always be in the past, always be in the future. So we have to sort of remind ourselves to come back, to return to the present moment, to connect with the present moment. So as we carry on this, now this become a sort of a habit. Now instead of habitually being in the past and habitually being in the future, now being in the present become your habit. Being a present become like a sport, because mind tries to jump to the past and the future. Now you are like a sportsman. Now you are always sort of being vigilant and taking your attention to the present. Again and again, taking your attention to the present. Now, as you continue, so the tendency to stay in the present become higher and higher. So more and more your time spent in the present moment, then you can really start to enjoy the present moment. Then you can say while eating, you can really feel the freshness. You can really feel the taste. You can, while having a bath, you can really feel the completeness. While watching outside, you can really feel. While watching the sky, you can really feel. While hearing, say, birds chirping, you can really listen. So likewise, so the present moment experience become really connected, really well connected. So that's how the sort of kind of a refreshing happens within yourself. So then it is becoming, I mean, slowly it converts to a sort of effortless practice, though it appears fairly effortful at the beginning.
Thank you.
Yeah. Are there any other questions or anyone likes to share their views? Any
Bhante, I
children who
have a
likes to
question.
yeah. Sure.
Um,
Carry on, please.
my question, Bhante, is I have heard of a lot of like meditation for when you're about to go to sleep, because sometimes when you're about to go to sleep, like the mind is racing. So I've listened to this at times, especially in that's what I've had a time to do. But I was wondering, do you feel like this can hinder other like meditation practices? Like because I tend to do it when I'm about to go to sleep, but then if I'm trying to do, say, sitting meditation at another point, would it make me more likely to feel like I'm sleepy or tired, etc.?
Yeah, actually, while I mean, just before sleeping, say you are on a sitting posture, and you can, like we did today, you can keep your attention at your tummy. So now the body is, by the way, in a sleeping posture, but not yet you are slept, but still you are awakened. But now the body is in a sleeping posture, lying down posture, and your attention being kept at your tummy. And even you can keep your hand on your tummy and you can feel the rising and falling. You can really feel the going up and down of the tummy, and it is really sort of connecting you to the body. Because why we can't really sleep is because there may be various regrets coming to the mind, there may be a lot of plans coming to the mind, maybe a lot of doubts. So then that, because of that agitation, we can't really fall asleep. But on the other hand, as we really connect with the bodily experience, this kind of a very calming experience, so that really connects the mind to your body. And this, since this is a very calming bodily experience, slowly you may fall asleep. And this is a kind of a very comfortable sleeping, because it is not that you are forcefully make you sleep. It is not that you are tightening your eyes and you are sort of crunching your teeth and try to sleep, but rather this is simply allowing the body to calm down, and accordingly allowing the body or allowing the mind also to calm down slowly. Then your mind start to sleep. And actually mindfulness practice helps us to be awakened. So here actually we are using that skill to really connect with the body. And since the body is in a very comfortable posture, that is the lying down posture, there's a tendency to fall asleep. So that's why, I mean, if you want to really fall asleep at night, you can actually practice in that angle. But on the other hand, while sitting, we should avoid try to get fall asleep. On the other hand, we have to be awakened. So that's why we are not taking an extremely comfortable posture and not taking a sort of a tiresome or painful posture, but a kind of in the middle. So it is not too comfortable and it is not too painful, but in the middle, that's a kind of a comfortable posture. There you are trying to keep your attention on your rising and falling, or the breathing, or the sort of the posture itself. So likewise, so the awakeness or the vigilance of the mind going to start, going to improve.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Bhante, I have another question.
Yeah.
I'm curious on your thoughts on this. Some teachers emphasize the importance of right effort or samma vayama with mindfulness.
Yeah.
And then, so I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that. Like, in order for mindfulness to be right mindfulness, do you feel like right effort also needs to be there?
Yes, sure. So that's why, I mean, we have to have sort of a continuous effort, because it is not that we have to be extremely effortful while doing the mindfulness practice, and we are, as I mentioned, sort of with the crunching teeth that we practice. That is wrong, actually. That will build up sort of a tension in the mind, kind of a stress in the mind. While practice, we have to have a very relaxed attitude. But on the other hand, we have to have very good effort in continuing our practice, never to give up. Because even though we started today, the beginning is very slow. So you can't feel much during the first few weeks, because it's a very slow process. So there you need a lot of effort to never give up, to again and again engage in the practice. So that is where the effort is coming to the picture. But on the other hand, while really engage in the practice, so you have to have a very relaxed mind. Not a really effortful position alone makes it successful. Rather, while engaged in practice, you have to calm down, you have to relax, you have to keep your attention on your tummy, or you have to keep your attention on breathing. So it's a kind of a really smooth, gentle kind of a process. And on the other hand, during the beginning of practice, actually, it is simply the bare attention. It is not the complete Samma Sati, because Samma Sati, the term is fairly an advanced term. Now, say, for example, if I connect you to the Buddha's teaching, there are many levels of mindfulness. So at the very beginning, what we have is the bare attention. Sometimes we call as Sati Matre, kind of a very limited paying attention to the present moment. So we simply want to cut off from the past and the future and to connect with the present moment. So that is simply the bare attention. But later we have to improve it. We have to really connect with the body. We have to really experience the body, experience the bodily sort of processes available in it. So that takes us to the Kaya Anupassana, to the being aware of the body, being aware of the bodily processes. We are connected with the bodily processes. And then we can further improve to being aware of various feelings, Vedananupassana. Then we can be aware of various mental states or thoughts, Chittanupassana, Dhammanupassana. So likewise, it improves. Then the mindfulness further evolves to the what we call as a faculty level, where you know there's some kind of a real quality as mindfulness. There's a kind of a tangible quality as mindfulness now available within yourself. And you know when I was mindful and when I was not mindful. So likewise, you can recognize mindfulness as a separate quality. Then we call it as a faculty, what you call as Indriya, Sati Indriya. And then it is growing to Sati Bala, power of mindfulness. And then it is going to Sati Sambojjhanga, where the mindfulness enlightenment factor. And at last we encounter the Samma Sati, the what you call as a noble eightfold path. We have the Samma Sati, the right mindfulness. So this is a kind of an evolving process. So we start with very basic bare attention, but it has a beautiful curve to grow to various levels, and then actually ultimately we can have the Samma Sati.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah. So I think today's session, actually we plan to end up within 1 hour. I like Shalika, if you have anything to share with others.
Yes, thank you everybody for your participation. I have to make a final quick announcement before we end the session. We are going to have continue to have this session every last Friday of the month. Due to Christmas, we are going to have it on December 18th, and you will be receiving an email where you use to, register for this session. And then you can use the same link in the future sessions as well.
I think next time I like to see some faces of our kids so that they can share their experiences, so that our session will be much interactive. So please, I invite all of you to do your homework, to do some practice while at home, and to put your experiences, share your experiences, so that this session will be a sort of an interactive session. So thank you very much for joining.
Thank you,
Everyone,
Bhante.
Saranai.
Thank you so much.
Everyone.